So our product has evolved quite a bit, and I'm excited to kind of share with you kind of what we've done and where we're headed. So Recreogo, my vision is to revolutionize the way that we are experiencing the outdoors. So I started out the presentation a few years ago in the same manner, and what I would like to do is just tell you a story as to why I started Recreogo. It really came from a frustration of my own personal experiences of trying to rent recreational rental equipment. In this particular case, I was trying to rent a snowmobile in northern Wisconsin and followed the process that most would traditionally do, which is go online, search where you're going and what you want to rent, and it will populate the individual businesses that rent it. You then visit their websites only to find that they are technically inept. They've really struggled in adapting and bringing their businesses up to current day standards of what consumer wants. And so therefore, I came up with the idea for Recreogo. So this was February of 2015 where this occurred, and I've been working on it fairly actively since then. So our solution is our Recreogo marketplace. It connects everyday consumers with available recreational rental inventory from our trusted business partners, making it easier to enjoy the outdoors. And so going down a trip of memory lane is that year, 2015, was really kind of the thought-provoking year. I took my idea through encouragement of a friend to Startup Weekend, Twin Cities Startup Weekend, and we participated. Ended up taking second place, did some market validation, really got to learn about the industry, talk with businesses directly, and we built a prototype app. That in turn gave me the confidence that there's a need from talking with the consumers and the businesses, and in turn spent the next couple months finding some partners who could help me build my dream. And that occurred in March of 2016 when Recreogo was founded. We launched a very basic prototype of our product, essentially replacing a calendar version. So most of the businesses in the recreational rental space either use a 3-ring binder or a calendar system, very archaic. This essentially replaced that, so we had a couple early adopters give us a try. Really all we were looking for is them to use it and give us feedback as to how we can improve the product to make it better for them. We took that feedback, spent the next 8 months or so really honing in on what their needs were, and then launching my vision, which is the marketplace. And so now we had a front to back or start to beginning tool that a consumer could come to our website, find the recreational rental items, and in turn book that online. We took our first transaction in June of that year, and then now we've continued to evolve our product and we're looking to grow. So our product is really composed of 3 individual pillars per se. We have a reservation management tool, which is the back-end management tool that businesses use to streamline their operations. We've provided them with a Book Now link that they can put directly on their website so that they can now accept reservations from their customers who they're marketing to. And then again, my vision, but I needed those other 2 components, is the Recreogo marketplace. So think of this as the OpenTable, Expedia, hotels.com, where you would come to their website, you would come to ours, you would search what you want to rent, when you want to rent, and where you want to rent, and it will populate the results for you as the business, or the consumer rather. So our platform benefits are really that for consumers, it saves time. It's a single source marketplace where people can find recreational rental items. All of our inventory is real time, so there's no need to worry about having back and forth between you and the business of trying to rent that. When you book something online, it's confirmed it's yours, it's taken out of the inventory of that business. You can feel peace of mind that you have secure bookings from trusted business partners. We spend a lot of time vetting out those businesses that we work with to make sure that they're providing good customer experiences and are reputable brands. For our business partners, it's a powerful management tool that they can use. We offer free marketing to our business partners, which increases their visibility through our marketplace, which in turn turns into more revenue and more rentals for them. There's absolutely no cost to the business to use our platform. We also pay or absorb the credit card fees for our businesses, making it more attractive to them. And we secure full payment up front for any rentals that come through our website. The advantage of that is that it reduces the amount of cancellations that occur. One of the biggest concerns that we heard from the businesses that we spoke to is that they're concerned of using a platform because of cancellations, but because we're taking the entire payment up front, it minimizes the amount of risk for that. We provide a dashboard for them to review and analytics that can support their data so that they can it helps them make big decisions about their business, like where the profitability is, what do I need to invest in to help increase our revenue. And then I throw the idea of network effects there, and what this really is that as we scale, as we get more businesses, it becomes more attractive to consumers. As we get more consumers, it becomes more attractive to the businesses. So we are a double-sided marketplace providing value on two sides, but the whole idea of us growing provides value on both sides, and we become stronger as a business. So our business model, as I mentioned, it's free to businesses. We charge 8% on top of the rental fee from the business. So it's an added fee. If the rate is $100, we'll charge 8% to that reservation that the consumer pays. So the rental facility is getting 100% of their rental that they're charging. We can get that from two different places. One is through our marketplace. The other is on the Book Now functionality that we've provided to the businesses. So for any online bookings, we are retaining that 8% fee for our convenience. The market is massive. It's $17.5 billion and growing at 5%. There's over 60,000 businesses within the United States alone that are renting the items that we have on our site. Sadly, only 10% of those accept online reservations through one of our competitors. And then we found that adding businesses or adding booking systems can increase a company's revenue by 30 to 40% based on industry statistics. So with that type of market, there's no doubt that there's a lot of competition. And so without going through this whole slide, it's fairly busy. I'll really bucket it into 4 categories. There's big brand players like REI, Viator, you've heard of them. There's other rental software, both cloud-based as well as desktop versions. So Peak, Fair Harbor, Veloet, RevStream, Checkfront are the most common ones that I run into. There's a whole new marketplace emerging that's peer-to-peer. That brings up a whole nother animal. Right now we're not going down the peer-to-peer path, but there is plans down the road to potentially enter that market. And then the most common one that we run into is really the archaic tools. Those are your calendar systems, those are your desktop or binders and digital calendars. What I want you to take away from this is that we understand our competition, and the other thing is that our platform is at a point where we're actually capturing market share from each one of these categories. So people are liking what we've built, which has taken a while to get there, but I'm excited about what 2018 will bring. So our traction, this is what we expect to go this summer, if summer ever gets here. We have 50 plus business clients that we're going to be working. Our target market right now is Minnesota and Wisconsin, and so you're going to see a lot of areas that we focused on, particularly the metro areas as well as the vacation destinations. That's where we'll drive traffic, so we're getting good penetration in all the areas that are up there. Out of those 50 businesses, we are going to have roughly 1,500 published listings. That means that there's 1,500 items available for you to book in real time. When we initially started, it was much more of the manual sport. So paddleboards, kayaks, canoes. It was just the barriers of entry were a lot easier. The business owners were a little less resistant. As our product has evolved over the past couple of years, businesses have become more confident that our platform will be able to meet their needs. And so now we're onboarding pontoon boats, ATVs, jet skis, snowmobiles. So it really is becoming the all-encompassing platform that I would like. The only component that we really haven't cracked yet, and there's a couple tweaks that we need to make, is the RV camper space. There's just a lot more variables that go into that. We're close, but there's a couple things that we are working through that we'll be able to start onboarding them here over the course of 2018. So our growth map is right now, we're focusing truly on Wisconsin and Minnesota. We hope to capture about 15% of the market from a recreational rental business this year by the end, so I'm hoping to have 100 businesses. I spent the last 2 months to try to avoid the cold and do some research and development down in the southeast part of the country. So met with businesses down in the Carolinas as well as Florida to get an understanding of, are there any differences between how they operate versus how businesses in the north operate? And the good news is there really isn't. There just is some things about the seasonality and obviously available product. You're not going to rent an ice house or snowmobile in Florida. It just isn't going to work, although with some years like this, maybe you can. So we're looking to expand in those 2 markets in late 2018. The nice thing about that is their seasons kind of somewhat overlap, but are mostly separate from where ours are, so it gives us the opportunity to diversify our revenue. Because right now what we find, if we were truly just in the north, we would have a lot of peaks and valleys with revenue because, for example, in November, there are no rentals that are going out. The same thing with April, they're kind of dead seasons. Having inventory in other areas will help us offset that a little bit. So what are we focusing on in 2018? Well, we're currently in the capital raise, looking to secure funding. We've raised about 1/3 of the capital we're looking for. We're going to continue to focus on increasing the number of listings that we have on our site. Add staffing, particularly in the development space. Both of my partners, which I didn't mention, Jonathan Dexter is a co-founder as well as Jared Swartz. They're both developers, but they're working at this on a part-time basis, where I'm on the business now full-time. I also have a full-time sales rep who is calling and introducing Recreogo to these areas that are in our target market. So we're looking to scale our sales team and bring on a full-time developer. I want to continue to identify channel partners, people that we can align with to help accelerate the growth of our business, evolve our product both through feedback from the consumers as well as from businesses, and then test the assumptions that we put in place to see if it makes sense and ultimately hopefully become cash flow positive this year. So with that said, that is my presentation for today. That's a little bit of an overview of who we are, what we're doing, and where we're headed. And so I appreciate everybody who has attended and would love to open it up to any questions. All right.
Is this a point of sale?
We're not a point of sale system.
Okay.
No, but we're growing closer and closer to becoming one.
Okay. So that is part of the vision.
I don't know. I think we're gonna force to be in that position because as we get feedback from different businesses that are using more robust point of sale systems, the question is how do we become integrated with them? So every day that we operate, every improvement that we make to our site is bringing us closer and closer to a full point of sale system. So businesses have already the ability to take manual payment on the back end. They can manually enter a number. So we are getting there. It wasn't a path that I was planning on going down, but it seems that we're taking ourselves that way. So I don't know where it's going to be to answer the question, but it seems that we're heading that direction.
Well, it would definitely expand first in some recreational areas.
I don't know if that expands and gives us a better opportunity. I think it provides more value to our business partners, just because they're not having to use multiple resources for a single operation.
David, I was wondering about Startup Week, because you had already had this plan pretty hatched out, and then you walked into Startup Week, I'm guessing, and kind of like shared your vision and had other people kind of come in and help in. So I was just wondering about like the knock around Startup Week is that sometimes kind of people lose control of their idea. You know, like if they share too much and stuff and people feel like they've got rights to ownership and so forth.
So
I was wondering just kind of like what your experience was, and would you encourage people to do Startup Week and so forth?
So definitely I would encourage people to do it. It was an awesome experience. I learned a ton. Initially, I was scared of providing too much information as my lack of understanding of really how difficult it is to get a product and bring it to market and get scalability. Is the fear is someone's just going to take your idea and run with it. But the truth being is that there's a lot of different businesses that are like this. This isn't the first time it's tried, and it's not going to be the last time. But overall, I think that what it did is it helped me understand a little bit more about the technology world. It really was the first time that I was able to collaborate on something with a team of people who didn't even necessarily know, kind of initially going into this, what it was going to be like. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel like I lost control. The only thing that I did is I gained confidence, and that's what I would encourage anybody who has ever gone through this process or is looking to take an idea, is that don't be scared about what it may not provide you. Be excited about what it may provide you.
Very cool.
I was just kind of curious, your decision to charge a transaction fee to the person renting versus the rental business. I guess how did you come to that conclusion? I guess.
Yeah, fair question, and I was going to mention that during, and I was just I wanted to keep it shorter to answer more questions, but ultimately we bounced around a couple different business models, and there's no right way, there's no wrong way, but our ultimate idea here was that based on how other software companies are within the industry, based on the reception of consumers paying a convenience fee, we felt that this was the appropriate model for our business. Not charging the business provides the benefits that the barriers of entry and risk factor are lower for businesses, making it a little bit more attractive. Now with that said, one of the challenges that we continue to have, or will have to monitor, which is testing the assumption, is to making sure that they're not using the process because they're not paying anything for it. But when I modeled it out and I look at the subscription model or paying on a monthly basis versus transaction fee, I felt that this was a better strategy in capturing more of the market quickly and providing a better value to businesses. As a small business owner myself, I understand how important every dollar is, and if you're taking dollars away from them in order to have them ultimately, pay for a service, this was a better option. And consumers in general, we pay convenience fees all the time, whether we realize it or not. And so people are becoming more accustomed and acclimated to doing so, and so this is the direction that we went.
You find that the rental businesses do some marketing for you too, I guess, since they're, obviously by going to your site, they aren't cutting into their bottom line. They do a little free marketing or encourage people to go to your site then too, or go to.
Well,
yeah.
they encourage them to go to their own site.
Right, sure,
So
yeah. And then
the Book Now functionality is a key component of that. So giving a business the ability to provide a better customer service to their consumers by having real-time online booking is a benefit. So in turn, inherently, they're driving traffic to our Recreogo platform, although it's their own booking page.
Of the 8%, how much of that is a cost of sale to you? In other words, a credit card transaction fee and anything else that's a cost?
Yeah,
of
our
sale?
rates are pretty competitive, so we use Braintree as our processor. So the two animals in the room that you can use as a third-party site like this are Braintree or Stripe. We decided Braintree based on documentation, reputation, and who they work with. They're competitive within what a small business would pay for credit card payments, so we feel comfortable with the amount that we're passing through. The one thing I did not mention to help encourage businesses to drive traffic to their own website, not necessarily to Recreogo, is that we pay the credit card fees for those transactions. Should they decide to take a manual payment, they're going to be responsible for paying those fees to the processor. So we take that out of the rental transaction that they get. So it encourages them to go and hopefully drive traffic to Recreogo or their lending.
And is there a way to transact on a direct basis, like using something like Venmo, for instance, that almost...
Well, Braintree's owned by
eliminates-
PayPal, so I guess that would be an opportunity to go, right?
Yeah, right, and
So-
then that almost eliminates
Yeah,
credit
so-
card fees.
So right now, we have not explored that market, but it is something that we have looked at and considered. There's different developments every day that I like to push forward, but it's a matter of resource time and getting this thing, and pretty pleased to the point that we've gotten in the 2 years that we've been working on this. Do you have a question?
Yeah, so a couple. One, I'm just curious on the, I'll put this in context. We went to Hawaii a couple weeks ago, and before we went out there, we were at a hotel, and they said, hey, there's activities and there's all these rentals, and they had an Expedia person on site that said, hey, you can rent all these, like kayaks, or you can go with a company and rent a boat or whatever. So I'm curious if you explored anything like that. Would it be like a travel type of agency where people are going somewhere looking to rent equipment?
Yeah, so that's the channel partners I was referencing as one of our goal strategies, is to align ourselves with affiliates that can help promote our brand. So whether it be some sort of tourism type agency or hotel type group, those are good potential partners. We haven't started those conversations yet, but that's one of the things I want to do. But there's a lot of value in having some inherent publications or promotion of your product through their affiliate. Is that answering your question?
Yeah, and I think through like resorts and things, in my opinion, it's probably more difficult, more crowded. There's, people are going there, they're trying to.
Yeah, I'm not looking to go at the individual resort level. I mean, I'm already doing that with the businesses, and it's very hands-on combat. I'm looking at an aggregate level of one of these affiliate partners who is massive, who has a lot of partnerships in that space, who potentially would be able to, promote us in a different way. In reciprocity, we'd be able to promote them as well.
Okay. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, so I know you spent some time in Nashville, so we rented like a VRBO in Nashville not so long ago. We got a little house on the Cumberland, and we said, when we got there, we realized they had a dock with no boat. We're like, man, before we would have known if there's a way, because they're just individual owners that have all these homes, they're renting them, but on the site, if there was recreational vehicles around, whether a boat or ATV around the Nashville area, we connect the people who are going to be there for a week anyway. It'd be nice if there was a pontoon boat that showed up on the dock when we were there. So maybe
Agreed, and that's, again, one of the reasons that, I found similar is that I don't want to own all the recreational running equipment, I just want to enjoy it. So when I was down in Florida, we rented both kayaks and a pontoon boat, and we didn't have any partners down there, but I rented from a business that was using our competitor software. Multifaceted reasons is one, I want to learn a little bit how their platform works, whether you booked in Mille Lacs at an ice house, or whether you're in Hawaii and you want to rent a paddleboard, you become very comfortable with the process of booking through Recreogo. And it's, if you book through the landing page or you book through our marketplace, the look and feel is going to be very similar. The only difference is that the inventory is specific on the landing page to our business partners, and Recreogo is all of the partners conjoined or together.
So on the idea of introductions to recreational rental businesses, have you talked to the city of Eden Prairie?
Have not.
So when we were at the Eden Prairie Community Center, our main point of contact, Josh Rocky, who's there, he's in charge of all the recreational facilities and stuff like that. So that would be a layup for you to be able to
Sure,
talk to him.
that'd be awesome, yeah.
Do you have beta customers right now? Do you have anybody set up?
Oh yeah.
How many?
We have 35 that are active, and we expect to close 15 more here this coming month, which puts us at that 50.
And kind of what's the spectrum of current users? Is it mostly like snowmobiles or kayaks? Like what's kind of the range?
Well, as I mentioned, if we go back a few slides here, these are kind of the areas that we focused on, and these are the areas of inventory that we have.
Oh, okay, so I thought this was like your goal, so this is.
No, this is very close to being accomplished. So this is real life. If you were to come to our site here at the start of May, these are what you'd be able to rent on our platform.
Very nice.
How often are you transacting rentals?
Right now, none. There's no season. April was, their snowmobile trails aren't open.
Right.
And the upcoming season, which generally would start right now, which is Fat Tire Biking, that's generally the first of the seasons that start, is the trails are closed still. So envisioning once the snow melts, that will start back on that track record.
How did you do this winter with snowmobile?
It wasn't very good. The snowmobile industry is a tough,
Yeah.
in general, it's a tough industry. Similar to ATVs, is that there are limited seasons in both capacities with very expensive inventory, and so our platform helps bridge that gap a little bit by getting them more users, but they're dependent on snow. And a lot of these businesses that we've added on here are really for the upcoming season, not necessarily for the previous season.
Are you segmenting the source of traffic to the site to basically understand where the lead gen's coming from?
On the back end,
Yeah.
like whether it's coming in a manual or through the marketplace or through the landing page,
Referral traffic, organic traffic?
we're tracking all of those on our back-end analytics, so we'll know where a reservation originates and where it ended up, how much that revenue was for. So we're tracking all of that information.
Any other questions? Cool.
What do you guys think? Would you use it? I guess that's my biggest question. Do you see value in what we're building here? Have you had a negative experience ever? Trying to rent something?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think actually when you say that, one of the thoughts I just had is like when I went up and rented snowmobiles, it was for like a bachelor party or there was like a big group of guys. And, but it always seems like those experiences are like, it's like two guys in a beat up truck that are hauling a bunch of equipment around. And I think one of your pitches could be to some of these business owners that I think it would make their business look much more legitimate. Like I remember one of my buddies who, you know, he wanted to pay cash because he was afraid to give these guys a credit card because they're writing it on a piece of paper.
Okay.
So, anyways.
Yeah, and we found that, we've talked to over 500 businesses, in person, and I've visited every one of their websites, and you see kind of what the online presence is, and it's not very good in a lot of cases, and our product can help enhance that and certainly bring them up to 2018 standards.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.